Hey all, welcome to my channel again. This is Sam. I am a son of recovery. I also have a podcast called Ways or Why Are You Sober, which you can also go check out. So the podcast used to be me interviewing people. I had it going for about a few months back in 2022, and I just had some trouble finding people who wanted to come on and share their stories regularly. So I decided that I was going to do some stuff a little differently this time, and now I'm going to start reading some Reddit stories about recovery and addiction. And they'll have questions. There are definitely some things that I have responded to, and also just interesting addiction things that I found. So I just thought I would read them. So here we go. This one comes from Reddit, and it is the subreddit Addiction Advice. This was from 13 days ago. So, starts out the OP. As a PA, meaning as a porn addict, how can I help my partner trust me again? To summarize the situation, I kept my addiction a secret for the entire 2.5 years of our relationship. I was in denial for most of it, but knew something was up when I couldn't keep my promise to stop using. It's to a point now where I can only feel turned on by porn and can't get hard to my girlfriend anymore. I know I find her attractive, but my body shows otherwise. I felt immense guilt, which prevented me from coming clean sooner, and I now realize that waiting longer caused more damage than if I wasn't such a coward. I've recently come completely clean to my girlfriend, allowing her to set up restrictions on my phone with the password only she knows, and shared other browser passwords with her upon my request. I also deleted Instagram, and I only use Facebook occasionally for work or connecting with friends. I've also come clean to my parents, who are less understanding than I'd like, but it is what it is. I'm starting CSAT therapy this week. I've been reading resources about PA, porn addiction, effects of PA on my brain, and also how it affects the partners almost every night. I'm also working on writing a formal apology and accountability letter to my girlfriend. We take time to discuss the situation when necessary and answer all of her questions as openly as possible. Needless to say, my girlfriend feels really hurt and betrayed. I asked her to write me a letter explaining her feelings, and they're obviously not great ones. In summary, she feels her whole life has been uprooted. She feels angry, unappreciated, is questioning my feelings for her, and feels violated because she didn't consent to giving her heart and body to someone who with this addiction. I'm not blaming her, and lately have been starting to see things from her perspective in more detail and feel similarly when I imagine myself in her position. However, she's been really supportive through all of this. She's well educated in psychology and mental health stuff, including addiction, and has always been really good at talking to me and helping me understand myself better. The thing is, we want to try to work this out. I love her more than anything in this world, even if my actions with porn haven't shown it. Like, I really want to marry this girl. But right now, she has her guard up, understandably, and says her brain is trying to get her to push me away. I've come to learn that's a common reaction to this kind of thing. I want to show her that I do love her way more than any video online and help her trust me again. I know I need to communicate with her often and figure out her needs and be consistent, but I'm wondering if anyone here has any pointers or advice on this. So, this isn't the typical addiction that I gravitate to, because also I'm an alcoholic, and I've been sober for almost 8 years, coming up on 8 years in early October. So I was gravitated to this because it is something that I don't usually have to address. But I went in and I said, "Hey man, first, I just want to say, as an addict, I empathize with your situation, and as a guy, I completely understand the porn issue. I always tell people alcohol got me in the doors of AA, but nicotine, porn, weed, and other things keep me in the rooms and going. Since I was able to get management of my life through AA and therapy, I've seen how using these tools in all areas of my life really works and helps me with other addictions. It's funny how AA helped me quit smoking and nicotine, and I really do find that funny, but it did. It's because I've been able to apply the things that I've learned in there and also in my own counseling life that I have been able to continue to overcome other stuff. That doesn't mean that I am awesome at it. I fail at it all the time, just as everybody does. But The thing is to keep going and keep being honest with people and yourself, especially your partner. So, second, I said I'm studying to be an addiction counselor, which I actually am. Not that this makes me an expert in any way, shape, or form, because I'm not, but I have a lot of experience with addiction, sober from alcohol for almost 8 years, as I said before. Anyways, I definitely recommend finding a support group. They are far more helpful than you realize. Before I got into AA, I had tried going a few times, but I didn't have much faith in it. But after I realized I had no other option, I finally found a meeting and a group I liked. I definitely recommend, if you don't find a group that you like, go to another one. There's always more around, and so you can usually find one that you will enjoy. I do know that that's hard in rural areas. I currently live in a rural area, and I'm not planning on leaving this rural area, and so meetings are sometimes hard to find around here. Thankfully, I work at a church that has a lot of meetings happen, so that is a great benefit to me, but I know that that can be hard. So anyways, but after I realized I had no other option, I found a meeting and a group I liked. By committing to meetings, committing to taking care of myself, and growing and changing, that can show your loved ones a lot, especially how much you love them. I know it sounds wrong, but by becoming a little more self-centered, by focusing on your health and growing, it shows your loved ones you are being honest and actually doing the work. It is all about showing her through your actions you are doing the work. You sound like a vulnerable guy, which is great, and pretty humble, which is also great. Use those qualities and seek out a support group and a therapist. In my opinion, those addiction issues rarely are not connected to something else in our lives, something unresolved that sometimes we are not aware of, which is why I recommend individual counseling. And if your girlfriend is open to it, why not see about some couples counseling as well? First and foremost, you need a support group and counseling for yourself, then something for the two of you once you have shown your commitment. So what I was saying there was that he should really find a counselor, and he should find a group, and he should start doing the work and go for a few weeks, a few months. And then once he starts to get it and things start changing in his life, go with his girlfriend and find a couples counselor. So these are just my thoughts. Sorry if it's long. Just trying to share some experience, strength, and hope. I still go to meetings even though I've been sober for almost 8 years. I don't go every day and not even every week, but a couple times a month. And I can always go more if I need to. And that is one of the best things about meetings, is that once you join one, you can go to hopefully as many as you need to, or as many as you don't need to. But it's just having the support and having the group there that is super helpful. So I am going to move on to a new to AA story, because this one is actually super fun. This is from the subreddit Alcoholics Anonymous. So it says, this is from 15 days ago. New to AA. Hello, everyone. My name is blank, and I'm an alcoholic. I do love that they didn't share their name. I've attended 3 in-person local meetings in the past 2 days, and have to say, for once in all my years of binge drinking to blackout drinking, I can finally relate to people. And it's not an at-home feeling, but more of a this road feels right feeling. I love that. So OP says, I've struggled with my drinking for about 16 years, and I said struggled because before I was willing to admit I was an alcoholic, that's how I treated it, a struggle. About 2 years, I got serious about getting better, not just with the drinking, but with behavioral health and general mental health. I've had clean, sober runs on and off in those past 2 years, ranging from 2 weeks to 2+ months blocks, but they all ended in failure. Somehow the little voice in me convinced me that one drink was okay, which would lead to more and more than blacking out. And I totally understand that and remember what that was like. OP continues, I'm not the most spiritual person, but I have a lot of family that is, and I see the good they do with that as a guiding aspect of their lives. So here I am 2 days into this process, hoping that I have the willpower and mental fortitude to keep this up. I'm choosing sobriety for me so I can be of service to my family. So OP, I love this. Couple things though about this post. I'm choosing sobriety for me so I can be of service to my family. I do love that you did remind yourself and remind us that you are choosing this for you. But remember, this isn't about your family. This isn't about your loved ones. This isn't about anybody else but you. You need to get sober. So, what I said to them was, hey, Welcome, super glad you're here. And I've been sober for almost 8 years, and there isn't a day I don't regret it. I drank for almost 20 years, and that is true because I am over 40. It is possible you can be sober. I wanted to validate your feelings, especially when you said it's not an at home feeling, but more of a this road feels right. I said it like I'm not on the same page and probably not in the same chapter yet, but I'm feeling like I'm in the right book. Kind of like I like the way the story is reading better, because that's the way I thought of it. Was as I was continuing my own journey into AA and sobriety, I started to realize that I liked the way that story was reading better than my previous ones. So on OP's thing of the road is different, but definitely looking brighter and better, because OP originally said, I'm not feeling at home. It's not an at home feeling, but more of a this road feels right feeling. And so I was kind of saying, yeah, I can see that. The road is starting to look better and look a little brighter. Kind of like in Beauty and the Beast when her dad is having to take the fork in the road and you see the scary road and then the not scary road and you're like, go down the not scary road. But he goes down the scary road. So I like this where she's saying it's starting to look brighter and better. So I continue to say, just wanted to send you some love and support. And one more analogy, one that was given to me my very first meeting, and I am sure many have heard it. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it is not a train coming for you, but it is freedom, love, and joy that is waiting for you. That was given to me by my friend who has sadly passed away, but his name is Breeze, and he was an amazing man. And for the few little time I knew him, which was just over a year, he was a true light and joy in my life. And I love that I still have that memory of him. So I continued on saying, you are doing this for you and you alone because you love yourself and you are worth being healthy. I also recommend finding a good addiction counselor. I am studying to become one as I know how good they are and want to help more people. Your commitment to yourself and your well-being will be the first and greatest step in showing your family how much you love them. Your actions will be all that is needed. And OP actually wrote back and said, thank you. I really appreciate the support. I figured since my work has me travel all over the place, I should try and get involved on here too, so I never feel like I don't have a place I can go and talk to people. And that is one of the best things about Reddit, and that I have been totally enjoying, is like connecting with people and actually talking with them about what about addiction and our questions and our struggles and stuff. So those are two of the stories that I've read so far. The next one I'm doing, I hope I found it. Let's look for it. Oh, I don't think this one. Yep, that one. OP actually deleted it. That is super sad. So that one's done. Yeah, that one's also gone. Shoot, people are. So, the next one. This one comes from the subreddit Addiction Advice, and it says, and this is from 7 days ago. And here, OP says, need help supporting my boyfriend through his addiction. This is a really tough thing for a lot of people, is supporting people who are addicts. So, hi everybody. I'm reaching out because I'm struggling to find the best way to support my boyfriend who's dealing with a tough addiction battle. He's using opioids and medications like Xanax, Valium, Lyrica, and Tramadol. Along with that, he's facing depression and liver issues. Obviously facing liver issues, OP, because having an addiction, pill addiction, and opioid problem is definitely going to screw up your liver. So, sometimes he talks about continuing with the pills and even mentions thoughts of leaving. He says if he dies, he'd only remember his family and me. Okay. He appreciates my support, but he also feels overwhelmed when I panic if he doesn't respond to my messages. I want to be there for him like he was for me when I was at my lowest, but I'm worried about how to support him without causing more stress or triggering him. If you've been through addiction or supported someone who has, what helped you the most? How can I be supportive about adding to his struggles? How can I be supportive without adding to his struggles? Thanks so much for any advice you can share. So, I wrote to OP and I said, hey, first, I am so sorry you are having to go through this. I, 42 male, am a sober addict, and I have been sober for almost 8 years, and I'm currently studying to become an addiction counselor, but I do not know everything about addiction, and I'm not licensed yet, so this is just my advice. I highly recommend you find a support group like Al-Anon or something similar. You need some support, and you would find people who have had similar experiences and would have suggestions on how to manage. Does he want help? Because your post didn't say anything about him wanting to give up the pills. If he wants to give them up and get help, then that is great. If he doesn't, well, I'm not sure there's much you can do. He definitely should seek counseling for the depression, and maybe if he's in counseling, it will help with the addiction. He has to want to, though. So OP wrote back to me and she said, "Hey, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for help and response." Because OP and I actually had a little dialogue back and forth about some more concrete ways, or more just advice to her about what she could do for her boyfriend. Because there was a lot of... they've been through a lot together. So I'm really hoping and praying for them, because I think she really has a heart there for him. But part of the thing too is that you got to remember, sometimes you're not going to be able to help them. And that's the hardest part of it, is that sometimes you really won't be able to help them. And you just have to let go and let them deal with it on their own. I know that I ended up having to get a DUI, and my blood alcohol level was 0.24 before I started in AA and seeking help. So highly recommend that. Definitely, I love counseling. I'm looking to be a counselor because I love counseling so much. I have my own counselor, and I think counseling and support groups are hugely and immensely important when you are trying to get sober. So I know I keep looking over here at my big question board. I have a whiteboard that I post all of my things on that I'm looking at. So the next one I wanted to read was question, which was... So question again comes from the addiction subreddit, Addiction Advice, and it says, "Can I ask why it is that we have to be in recovery for the rest of our days?" Oh yes, I love this question. Okay, I love talking about recovery and why we're in recovery for the rest of our lives. So I've just seen a video that explains it perfectly, that if you are years into sobriety, you are no longer an addict or an alcoholic. So why in NA and AA, NA is Narcotics Anonymous and AA is Alcoholics Anonymous, why in those meetings should one introduce themselves as an addict? I'm an alcoholic, and it has been 2+ years since someone last usage. I don't know what they're meaning. So I think they're meaning if an alcoholic has been 2+ years sober since their last usage, I really don't understand. And all I want to do is share the message: we are no longer addicts or alcoholics if we no longer use. Why can nobody see this? And I ask again to explain to me, why would I still be an alcoholic or addict if I've not used in 2+ years? It's because we're led to believe this. I really don't understand. So that was OP's original post, and my post back was, for me, 42 male, I like describing myself as a sober alcoholic because I understand that I am actually never cured. I'm almost 8 years sober and have no thought or desire to drink. I go to parties, concerts, weddings with open bars, etc., and do not have a problem. I have a wonderfully supportive husband who chooses not to drink, but I still call myself a sober alcoholic in recovery because that is just true for me. I know that if I were to pick up a drink, I would be right back where I started 8 years ago. I got a DUI with a blood alcohol level of 0.24. I drank a lot. I'm an addict. I know I am. Since being sober, I've been through 2 brain surgeries unrelated to drinking and was prescribed opioids for painkillers, and those were amazing. I loved taking them. They felt incredible. Thankfully, I was under close observation with my doctor and husband, who helped me maintain my schedule of drugs and made sure I got off of them well. I know without them, I would have started a new addiction. Those drugs were amazing. If you don't want to call yourself an addict or alcoholic, you don't have to. That is your choice. I don't judge you. For myself, I know it keeps me humble and helps me remember. So peace. So that was my comment, because I honestly believe that. I believe that as I describe myself as a sober alcoholic, that is telling people that I have been through treatment. I am sober. I have gotten sober by going through treatment, and that I am living a life of practicing recovery. So, because I know that for myself, I will always be an addict. And just like my brain surgery, I have a rare brain disease. It's called moya moya. That disease is never going to leave me. I've had 2 brain surgeries that have treated my disorder, but my disorder has not gone away. I can live better now because it is managed, just like because of AA, I can now manage my life and my addiction. But it doesn't mean that the addiction is gone. It doesn't mean that my disease is gone just because I've had brain surgery. So that's where I go to this. So the next person, who's called London Life Coach, commented and said, I believe it's to guard against complacency or thinking you can drink or use drugs safely again. I totally agree with that, London Life Coach, which very few of us can do. Amen. That is completely true. He goes on to, or they go on to say, but I agree that repeating it over and over again does you no good and just reinforces the negative self-image and helplessness, if anything. Okay, I do kind of understand that, but it is possible. So I definitely get that. And then Acrobatic Hedgehog 7, 5 days ago, commented and said, for me, it's a way to give back. When I come in, I was broken. When I came in, I was broken. With the help of meetings and steps that someone brought me through and to, I'll meet a newcomer and take them through the steps, share my experience, strength, and hope, and perhaps they stay sober, they will do the same. I also feel as recovered, but you never know what we go through in life. It's always good to have support just in case. Yes, I also love that. So yeah, so that's the thing for me, is that once an addict, always an addict. There's really like no question about it. You can't turn away. So I also have one more, and it's called Feeling of Failure. And this one comes from the subreddit Sober. So, feeling of failure. How do I get out of this horrible feeling of failure? So I got pulled over for a DUI, spent a while just drinking and avoiding getting caught over the course of a year until I flew too close to the sun. Realized I made a mistake and I had a problem. Went to rehab, felt like I was feeling ready and thought I was getting too comfortable at the facility. Got on meds, felt amazing. Came out of rehab, took less than a week to get depressed and apathetic. The way I've been for my whole life, 26 years. Everything became so overwhelming. Financial debts from court, car, and rehab, a job without any upward momentum, living at home with my parents, 0 friends. A month and a half after rehab, I'm drinking just like I used to. I stopped talking to my rehab buddies because I just felt too ashamed to go back after falling so hard. I feel totally alone, totally overwhelmed, and 0 drive or ambition to change anything. I just feel like it's all too much of a hole, and my life is ruined beyond repair. I just can't imagine how I'm gonna get myself out of all of this. I told myself I'd try rehab, or at least or as a last ditch effort, and now it feels like I've failed at that. I mean, has anybody else been so paralyzed in their failings like this? How can I overcome this? Okay, this dude, this person, I feel so bad for them, because I got my DUI at 36. And I started changing my life then. So I'm going to read some of these comments because they are awesome. So, first one. This was from 6 days ago. Hi, you're 26. Your life is not ruined beyond repair. And it is not. I'm sorry, OP, but your life is not ruined yet. And I just want you to know that you have a lot of hope. But it is time to get honest with yourself. Talk to your rehab friends. Don't hide from what's going on. Don't hide what's going on to everybody. Face it, and face it now, friend. I'm 45. There you go. Lost about 20 years in the haze, just like me. I don't remember half of it, and that's true. Making the decision to get sober a year ago is the best gift I ever gave myself. You'll be okay. You'll get out of these life problems, but you know what you have to start with. So there you go. I love that. And somebody commented on that saying, I agree with this. I'm 46, just hit a year of sobriety a week ago. You're 26. You have so much ahead of you. I wish I could have realized at your age that I needed to get sober. Keep fighting. It's not over for you. And that's my thing. So I wish I had been 26 when I realized I needed to get sober. So I said, totally agree, man. Go for a walk. Get some exercise. I've been sober for almost 8 years now and I'm 42. Wasted too much time. Exercise is what you need in your life, and I love this person's idea of the gym where you can go be around and meet some people. I found a great AA group meeting and with really great people when I first got sober. I miss them a lot. I really do. And I moved away after meeting someone and getting married. So I'm telling you, everyone here is right. It totally gets better, but you got some work to do, but it's totally worth it. I'm wishing you the best. And that's the thing is, man, I just want to tell him, like, it is totally worth it, dude. Like, just find it. So there was one. Okay. This one I just read today, and I'm going to read it now because I find this fascinating. This is from the subreddit Alcoholics Anonymous, and it says, I wish I never went to AA. And I know that there are definitely people who probably that's true for. So, I'm 32. I am 70 days sober. I got a new job. I had a medical questionnaire attached as a pre-employment check and asked if I had anxiety or any other mental impairment. In the list of examples, it said, including drug and alcohol misuse. I asked this on Reddit. 99% of people said, no, don't say. Okay, OP, I'm just going to say right now, it is always best to answer those questions honestly. I have done that, and it has always worked out for the best. So anyways, OP continues. So I didn't. And now I'm anxious and overwhelmed that I'm going to be found out. I wish more so than ever that I was just normal. I'm not going to my meetings anymore. I've realized this could now stop me earning money and will affect my job. I can't have that. I have a mortgage, a family. I don't want to drink, and I just want to be normal. I was doing okay. I now have a new job. I now have new job stress, which is to be expected. But on top of that, I'm worried they'll discover one day that I'm in AA and get rid of me. It's to be a teacher north of England. So a council job. I'm feeling spiraling. Is this just my anxiety and intrusive thoughts for now? I feel safer not going to meetings and making myself known to anyone. I want to tell everyone that knows me I'm not an alcoholic. I hate this life. The anxiety is unreal and sometimes I want to die. My partner doesn't deserve this up and down. He doesn't deserve me drinking, and he doesn't deserve me losing my job and therefore losing my house. Help. Anxiety is taking over. I don't want to do AA anymore. It's too scary and stigmatized. So, okay. I just want to say that when I was getting sober, I got a DUI and I was an operations manager at a corporate real estate company. I had a wonderful boss, and I'm going to say that so many times. I had wonderful bosses and employees. I mean, it was definitely a drinking atmosphere that I was around and a partying atmosphere, but when I said I needed to get sober, I had so much support from everybody, and I'm really grateful for that. And ever since then, I have always gone into every job, every position I've been in, and I've been very forward and told people that I've gotten a DUI, that I got arrested, that I was on probation, that I served that probation, that I got through it, and I have all the paperwork that shows that. Honesty is so the best way to go about this because there will be so many people who understand, and actually you would probably be surprised that you would find that there would be other people there who were also alcoholics and also got sober or also were going to meetings and were there to support you. So, okay, so top comment. This was posted 10 hours ago and has over 159 comments. Top comment with 233. I can feel the anxiety in this post. I'm an alcoholic teacher and it has never been a big deal. I've talked about it with so many colleagues. I started a new school last year, and my assistant principal is an AA. He keeps a symbol behind his desk and has recovery tattoos. I think you urgently need help with this anxiety. Totally. And OP suddenly wrote back, this calmed my brain so much. And so then other people kept responding saying, for what it's worth, most people these days really respect folks who are open and honest about being sober and in recovery. And I have found that to be 100% true. People see being in recovery as a huge sign of perseverance, resilience, and strength. Give yourself some credit. You are kicking butt so far, and that is true. And OP, I'm going to continue to recommend that you continue to go to meetings. Please do so, because it's really important. If you're afraid of the gossip, then do Zoom meetings. That is also true. You could do that. Another person said, I'm an RN and I'm in recovery. I remember feeling nervous and full of shame, but the longer I've settled into recovery, I feel more confident. I have a solution for my alcoholism. It's working. I've never had my anonymity broken. I know others that I work with are in recovery too because we revealed it to each other. That is another thing. Okay. So early on in my recovery, I was thinking, I think I was about 5 or 6 years sober, and I went to go visit my parents, who we had not had the best relationship, and oftentimes my parents and being around them was a trigger for me. Thankfully, not anymore. But at one point it was a trigger for me. Anyways, I was visiting them, and my dad is a pastor, and they lived in Pennsylvania at the time. I did not live anywhere close to them at that time. I actually lived in Florida. So I was traveling back to Pennsylvania, and my dad was working. He's a pastor at a church there, and I found some AA meetings that I started to go to, and I really enjoyed it. And one day at those meetings, I was sharing, and after the meetings, this woman came up to me, and she introduced herself and told me that she was a member of my dad's church. And she said, I give you permission to tell your parents that you saw me here. And that made me feel so loved and seen, because all of a sudden this woman who was in my dad's church was saying, I'm not afraid of my anonymity. You can go and tell your parents that you saw me here, because I know that I am good and I'm confident in myself. And that is kind of the way I've continued my own life, is I always tell people, I am not afraid of my own anonymity anymore. You can tell people that I'm an alcoholic and that I'm in recovery. Absolutely. But I will never, ever share anybody else's anonymity. I will keep their anonymity safe to the end. So, and that is what I found in AA, is that everybody really does respect that, and no one is going to give your anonymity away. You are going to be safe. And so, OP, I really tell you to keep going to meetings and just be honest on those employment records, because it's better just to do that. So anyways, I hope you all have enjoyed this evening. I can't wait to continue doing this. I had a lot of fun. And again, if you would like to be on the podcast, I would love it. You can write me at ason, that's SON, a son of recovery @gmail.com. Have a good night. Thanks.